over-the-top TV. Watch your life make sense.
We are coming up to a very interesting time. A lot of people are speaking about the date of 2012 as if something very good, some kind of higher state of consciousness is going to be achieved, or something very bad, the end of the world, the destruction of the world. What I understand the Zohar speaks of, it has a time frame of development. What is there association here?
The Zohar says this: since Adam, to the point that our entire world rises to a spiritual level, it has to take 6,000 years. Today, since Adam, we are at the year 55,670. So we have 230 years for the world to complete its correction. So during that time, perhaps we'll reach those corrections, maybe quicker or not longer than 230 years. There were many dates through history when all kinds of religions, belief systems, and rumors were talked about. They also talked about the year 2000, 2K.
Okay,
In 2K, something's supposed to happen. Nothing happened. Before that, they were talking about 1984, right? In the Hebrew calendar, it's a special date too.
Okay.
And nothing happened, etc., etc. So these dates have nothing special to them. I mean, things, good or bad can happen, but it's always so. Again, the world has to reach its correction. Man has to come to a point where he changes his nature from egoistic, bad one, from hatred, to love, as it is written in the Torah.
So that's
Love
the,
their friends as thyself.
that's the Kabbalistic change of consciousness. That's a quantum leap of consciousness. Okay,
Yeah.
but the Mayan calendar would say, and I've read a little about it, that we've been in a developmental process and it is leading to much the same shift in consciousness, but they're saying that they have exact times and dates, that these things are following an exact sequence in a linear way, and they can precisely predict by the time in the day, December 12th or whatever it is, 2012, that the calendar will end.
What can I say? I don't know anything about that date from Kabbalah.
Okay.
I know it's all up to us when things happen. Yes, before the end of the 6,000 years.
Okay.
When the change will happen, and when it rises from the degree of this world to the degree of the spiritual world, to the sensation of a hidden reality.
So, but there's a confine. You're saying there's a limit. 6,000 years. This is a limit.
Yes,
okay.
yes, that's
so,
true.
And you're talking a normal year, like a 365-day year, or is this?
It also talks about
Okay.
years, yes, physical
Okay.
years. Where in 230 years we'll have to change. And the crisis that we're now experiencing and everything that will come to the world is only to force us to correct.
Okay, so these systems may be off.
There's no contradiction here.
Okay, so the Mayans could have this is their way of looking at a cycle or a...
Perhaps. I can say to their merit only one thing. People used to be closer to nature and they had a better sense of what's happening, the forces in nature. And they sensed what was happening, things that we don't feel today because we are, caged in our technologies and we've lost contact with nature like we used to have. So perhaps they do have, something real. Look at what the Egyptians know.
Sure.
And we don't know how to do these things today. So there might be some truth to it, but Kabbalah doesn't say a single word about it. Let's wait for another 2 years.
Speaking of these ancient cultures, they decided a lot of their belief systems based on what they saw around them. Mainly, in some of the research I've done, the stars, astrology. The Mayans included the Egyptians. They tried to navigate where they were in the universe through the passing of time. The sun rises, it sets. So they built myths around that.
Yeah.
And some of these myths are similar to the myths in Kabbalah. I'll give you an example, the flood in the Bible, in the Torah, and then the Epic of Gilgamesh in Babylon. And a lot of these things were myths they made up about. In the summer, the water dries up and then it rains, and they were all based on these early societies and their relationship with nature. What's going on there?
The thing is this. Of course, we are in nature. We're operated by nature. But besides, we have free choice. Besides, we can change, we can accelerate time, we can correct ourselves. We can do something too. We're not just out there in nature like still, and plants and animals. We're people. We can affect the forces of nature that affect us back. It's like a special feedback. I affect nature. I want to be better connected to it. I want to rush my development, and then nature affects me and promotes me to the goal.
Okay.
And so that's why, the stars and the zodiac and all that, that's correct, on condition that you're not changing time.
Okay.
You don't interfere. But if I interfere with my desire to receive, with my free choice, I change my participation and I want to advance by myself, then I accelerate time, and then the zodiac doesn't give me the right indication.
How can I accelerate time? How can I do that?
For that, you need to know how nature is built, how it promotes us to a certain goal, and to be drawn by ourselves to that goal. That's what Kabbalah talks about. It gives you a possibility to rush your development. It says this: you change according to a plan. That plan, you can only rush it, and that's it. And it's up to you. That's why it exists.
Okay, that's interesting. So you're saying that there is a plan, nature has a plan,
Yes.
and you're saying some of these ancient cultures may have felt better than we in our modern world this plan.
Yes. And the
Okay.
zodiac too talk about the same plan.
And so, and in the method of Kabbalah helps us to move through that plan quicker within a 6,000-year time limit.
Right.
Okay, but
Yes.
how can we hasten that time? Is there
You want to draw that goal towards you. If you read Kabbalah books about the plan, about how we advance towards it, we will want to advance towards it by ourselves. Our desire will rush the plan.
So you're saying by studying the end destination, the final goal,
It's as if I bring it closer to me. I change accordingly. I want to be like that. It's like the difference between a child who doesn't want to go to school, doesn't want to change, or does want it. Of course, he'll change
what's the
faster.
goal? What's the goal?
The goal is to turn ourselves into a giving and loving person instead of a receiving and hateful one.